My friends are jealous that I was able to get pregnant before them, and even though they aren't saying anything, the silent treatment they are giving me is most definitely speaking for itself. Posted by u/little_white_raven. I, 25F, and my fiancé, 27M, had our first child last month. She's a healthy, small, beautiful doll. We fell in love with her instantly. We knew we wanted a child before our 30s, so after long, intimate discussions, I stopped my birth control last summer, but we didn't have any expectations since my doctor told me that sometimes it takes 6 months to a year before getting pregnant. We thought we had time, but in the end, I got pregnant pretty fast. I'm not the type to talk about my intimate life openly. I can joke on certain topics, but I never go into details, etc. No one knew that we were trying since I considered it bad luck and that if nobody asks about a subject of my life, well, I won't talk about it. My fiancé's friends, let's call them Michael, 26, and Florence, 25F, kinda like to brag over their life choices and their intimate life. Especially Florence, they, compared to us, openly told all of the friend group during a party that they hosted that they were trying and that we shouldn't be surprised if there's a baby on the way soon. This was more than a year now. I even told Florence that usually we wait until she was pregnant to make that kind of announcement because we never know how life can be. I just warned her that sometimes it's better to be a bit more discreet about certain subjects. Sadly, it happens that I was right telling her that. Months pass and she shares with us that their hopes are fading away and frustration is winning on them. When my fiancé and I knew we were pregnant, I immediately thought of the couple. I was of course overjoyed for our future baby, but I was also feeling some guilt and awkwardness for our friends. I told my fiancé that I wanted them to know before anyone else, before even the 3-month wait. This is important because I was so scared it was going to bring me bad luck. But I insisted because I really didn't want them to learn the news like all of our other friends and family and take them by surprise. Even our parents didn't know. I wanted them to have some time to cope the situation. I just felt like it was the best thing to do as I respected them and didn't want it to cause too much harm. It did though. They thanked me for telling them in advance. I felt some kind of awkwardness, but I believed it was normal because they were still trying. When we officially told our announcement to everyone, they started to make us feel like our child was an accident. They actually told a friend, that told us back, and Florence and Michael actually confirmed it, that we, my fiancé and I, had a baby just like that while they can't. It's not really fair. I understood the feeling, but it just felt as if we weren't deserving to have our own life if they can't have life their way. I understand that it can be hard not having a child, but that's not my fault, so don't start blaming us as if we were responsible. Anyway, we told them our own feelings, that we were hurt by their words, etc. They said they didn't mean it that way. They never officially apologized, but things slowly started to be like normal. I'm getting bigger and bigger. I never talk about my pregnancy so to not trigger them, as we now know that Michael is infertile. I gave birth. They know it. They have seen some pictures sent by my fiancé. Everyone is happy. Maybe not, but I don't start any discussions about baby in front of them as to not hurt them. 2 days ago, we decided to attend a friend's birthday party with our little girl as to present her to everyone since our friends haven't met her yet. They didn't even came close and looked at her. As I said earlier, I'm not one to brag, but I really feel like coming close and just meet her by saying hi baby is the bare minimum. Just doing that small gesture is enough for me because I know that it's hard on them. But they totally acted as if she was not there. As if she didn't exist. That hurt me. Again, I don't need them to hog over her and talk only about her, but I didn't even receive any comment like how are you? Are you doing better after giving birth? Baby doesn't even look like me that much. I'm tan but my fiancé is pure white, so even a tiny joke would have been fine in the end. But nothing. I'm disappointed again about their behavior. How should my fiancé and I deal with them? I'll give them time to cope again, but for how long should I accept their ways? Can someone please give some advice? Thank you in advance. Update 1. Nearly 10 months later, when I was pregnant with my first child 2 years ago, I had a really heavy feeling that I had to keep my pregnancy journey quite discreet because 2 of my friends, they are married, had difficulties with infertility. When my fiancé and I were expecting, it was obvious that they were hurt and that after each encounter with us they would cry themselves to sleep. So whenever we were together I wouldn't bring up the pregnancy or even all of the great new thrills I was living. I don't have much friends, so it hurt me inside a lot not to be able to appreciate the moment as much, but I didn't want it to hurt them just because baby was existing inside me. But they talked to other friends of ours and said awful things such as, the child was an accident. It wasn't. I prepared my body for everything, and it just happened on the first try. They don't deserve a child as much as us. I literally waited my entire life just to begin my own family since mine was broken since even before my birth. I remember to cry myself to sleep several times thinking about them, also because I always daydreamed about our children growing up together, whether they adopt or use other medical options, but they were just mean. I always try to calm my fiancé down by telling him that they are hurt and that they don't actually mean it, but it still hurt, and once confronted they still didn't actually apologize. Thing that I don't forget. When we introduced baby to our friend group for the first time. It wasn't at home, they never acknowledged it. Not even a hello baby. They just straight up acted as if it never existed. That night I cried again. The next time they brought a gift, but they never actually said sorry. Anyway, now the couple are expecting, maybe twins. They had an insemination. They told us first. I hugged them, gave them a small gift I prepared for this day, baby clothes and stuff, because I consider myself their friend, and congratulated them. Now I have this sinking feeling inside because all the things I didn't get to do wholeheartedly because it was hurting them, they'll celebrate it publicly and loudly. They love to show themselves. I know that it's my fault for not celebrating as much as I should have, but they were really hurt and it hurt me just as much. So now I'm just thinking about not going to their baby shower when it's going to come up. Not out of a petty move, but because I'll be extremely hurt. I've learned to stand a bit more my ground, so I know that I'll tell them my reasons one way or another, but I feel bad because I'm supposed to support them as a friend. So whipda if I don't attend their baby shower because they said my pregnancy was an accident and that I didn't deserve it? Downvoted commenter, you note that they haven't apologized, but it doesn't sound like you've had the conversation directly with them? There's been hurt feelings on all sides and tears all round, but it doesn't sound like there's been conversations at any point. I've been at a baby shower a week after my second miscarriage, feeling grief for myself, but joy for my friend's joy. I accompanied another friend to get an abortion the same week I had an appointment booked for IVF discussion. Turned out I was already pregnant at this point, but didn't know it yet, and felt miffed when a family member fell pregnant with a one-night stand during my struggle. In all these situations I've been able to discuss my feelings with them, and we've been mindful of each other because we're friends, but not to our own detriment. I don't think anyone here is an asshole, but it doesn't sound like you and your friends communicate very effectively, and like much of the hurt could have been avoided by having a couple of lunch dates. OP, true, I didn't say it, but we did a dinner dates with them to tell them how we felt. The first time, they told us that they said those things because they didn't know that we were trying or thinking about trying. They announced that they were going to try since the beginning, at a party. We didn't. We did things our way privately. We did hinted that we weren't going to wait too long, but never shouted it in front of everybody. The second time, when baby was born and that they ignored her existence, they explained that they didn't know it was coming along and that they weren't ready mentally. The third time, months after, during an outing with them only. I told them that they really hurt me and made me cry several times. They said again that they acted like that because they didn't know the whole story. I always told myself that it was normal since they were mourning the fact that they couldn't have children naturally. After reading all of your comments, I now understand my gut feeling that this is not a healthy friendship. Update 2. Next day. Not actually an update, but I wanted to thank everyone commenting. I really didn't expect this much attention. I actually cried reading all your comments, and I told my fiancé also that I won't go to their baby shower, and he is 1000% on my side. I know that we'll be able to tell them our reasons of why and that it's totally justified, but I also know that it's not going to be easy because, as one of you said, they will try and say that we can't be happy for them to our other friends. I won't ghost them, but I definitely won't be as present for them. My fiancé and I already know that they'll compare their children with ours with even everyday accomplishments. They actually already do it with us, buying a house, new car, renovations, etc. As another one of you said, it's exhausting. My fiancé made the effort to keep a relationship with them for me. He is deeply hurt by the situation, but unlike me, he isn't a people pleaser, I guess. I truly am grateful to have him. Our first year with baby sure wasn't easy, but he was way more supportive than I could have hoped for. I know that you are all right about leaving them behind and understand that they're not my friends, but it truly is hard to tell myself that after having a hard time making some. But I really do know that my family, and my own self, comes first. I'm just heartbroken. But thank you again for your comments, and I really wish for you all a beautiful life.